Welcome to another episode of the Rugby League Outsiders. My name's Craig.
And my name's Karl.
And we've got a great interview with Jonathan Burgess, who heads up the...
I don't head it up. I'm the Community Development Officer. Nick Settle's the head of the foundation. But I'm on the ground delivering all the projects.
How did you end up at North Wales Crusaders, first of all, I suppose?
Rugby League's always been I'm from Waddington originally, so I was always a massive Waddington fan, so I'm always obsessed with Rugby League from the age of 4.
Yeah.
When I moved down to North Wales when I had my eldest son, and within a year of being here, I set up a Rugby League team. Had that going for about 5 or 6 years, and then jumped over to Rugby Union for a little bit coaching, and then came back to Rugby League. And just by having a couple of conversations, I was asked if I'd be interested in taking a community development role. And just then from there, started part-time in January last year and moved to full-time quite quickly by May. And I've been full-time ever since.
Awesome.
But I think day to day, last year, main aim, we set up 4 hubs, just trying to get kids between the ages of 8 and 10 playing rugby league, which was really successful. We had 50, 60 kids on a regular basis coming to training and playing. We had 6 festivals throughout the year. And then we finished back end of August because obviously our biggest competitors around here are Rugby Union and football.
Yeah.
So I finished right before that rush started back up. And then over winter, it was more like community-based stuff. So I was going into schools. We were delivering tag rugby sessions for schools. We were going to specialist needs schools and delivering rugby taster sessions. Going into nursing homes, delivering a project called Rugby Memories. So this was focusing on dementia. So we were going into care homes, dementia specific, and we were going in and delivering watching old footage of games from the 50s, 60s, 70s, bringing in old memorabilia, and then doing a bit of activity, whether it was just chucking a rugby ball around or getting outside if the weather was nice. It was a fantastic project, because I think for a lot of us, we've all had someone around us that's had, whether it be dementia or Alzheimer's. So it's quite nice to be able to go into that side of things, so and do something for the community. Then from maybe February, March time, then it's planning for the summer. It's very much rugby league over the summer. So this year we've expanded from under 8s to 10s to 7s to 11s. And then we've got 2 development pathways for under 12s to under 14s. We set up the women's team last year that did fantastically well. That's back up and running this year. So, I'd say that's probably a great portion of what I do at the minute, on top of schools. I'm still in schools and stuff like that.
So you mentioned at the start the hubs that you'd set up.
Yeah.
So where are these based, and what's actually involved with these hubs? Are you bringing players in who are already playing for community clubs, or is this something like completely new that you've?
So the hubs are based across the 5 counties in North Wales, so Wrexham, Flintshire, Denbighshire, Conwy and Gwynedd.
Right.
We've got 2 in Denbighshire, because Denbighshire's quite long and stems quite far down. So we've got one in the Vale of Clwyd, which is Denbighshire is the coast and Vale of Clwyd is the country, there, to put it easy. So these kids, some of them have come in, they've just seen the advertisement, no experience in rugby league at all. Some want to play rugby all year round, so they've jumped from rugby union into rugby league for the summer. And some are footballers, just wanted to give rugby league a try. So we had around about 60 kids last year. This year we're pushing on 200, which is massive. We've got 3-4 volunteer coaches more or less at every hub that we've got. Most of them are qualified, and if they're not, they will be by the end of the summer. Then we've got team managers, volunteers that help out within the hub. So it's trying to make them, I think at this point it's trying to make them a bit more self-sufficient, so then I can then go on and develop the next project, the next age groups, and push it on from there.
So when do these, is this like a midweek thing? Or?
Yeah, so they train, there's a training session on every single night. One on Monday, 2 on Tuesday, 1 on Wednesday, 1 on Thursday, 1 on Friday.
Oh, wow.
And then the development stuff is a Saturday morning, and then the festivals are on a Sunday. So
7 days a week, Rugby League?
Rugby League, 7 days a week. Just how we like it.
Do you even get chance to watch it, all that going on? I take it you're a Wire fan, are you?
Yeah, I'm a Wire fan, yeah. So it's, I watched the semi-final the other week. I watched the final next week. I think in between that, I think it's really difficult.
Yeah.
Because I think there's got to be, I think the missus will chuck me out. Going out working rugby league, coming home, working rugby league.
Tell us about it, mate.
In my spare time, watching it as well.
Could you call it research?
That's a good idea. I do watch a bit. I think it's easier for me to watch the NRL stuff.
Yeah.
Because in the evening, I'm out more or less every evening. And most of the rugby league on Sky now is Thursdays, Fridays, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to go from like 60 kids to 200 kids, that's massive growth, isn't it? I mean, at what point do you kind of top out? I mean, are there more kids wanting to play, you know?
We don't, we just keep going. Yeah. I think the trickiest part with North Wales is it's a large demographic, but the population size isn't massive. But the demographic is quite a large area.
Yeah.
So Gwynedd as a county runs from sort of like the coast in Bangor by the Menai Straits right down to sort of more or less mid Wales. So we're never going to cover that much ground. Well, I'm not on my own anyway. But I don't see a limit. I really don't. I think for me, we've got 7s to 11s now for the mini Crusaders. I think next year it's about under 8s to under 10s, we've got strong numbers, but we're still developing under 7s and 11s. Next year is about consolidating that and then growing all around, and then growing our volunteer base, so then we can actually split into set age groups, and then developing 12s, 13s, 14s, 15s, naturally, just until that pathway is there. But you can't, there's no. You can't rush it, because I think when you stretch yourself too thin, it's not done properly.
Quality goes down.
Yeah, and I think the reason why we've had such an influx in players this year, yes, we've added 2 extra hubs, but I think because we've had such an influx, it's because of the people that were there last year and enjoyed it. And I'd like to think that's because they love rugby league, and I don't think you'll find many people in North Wales that are as passionate and as enthusiastic about rugby league as I am. Like, I live and breathe the sport. Always have done since I was 4 years old. Always will do. For me, it's the best sport in the world. Might be slightly biased to some people, but I play rugby union now and again. It's
you don't have to hold back on this podcast, mate.
And you can swear.
It's boring. I couldn't take to coaching it either, because there's so many technical aspects, and playing it, I don't think my back will ever be the same again after having to have to push in a scrum or tackle around the legs. It's just not normal. But it's in a game of rugby union, the ball in play is the average game of rugby union lasts for 101 minutes. The ball in play is 32 minutes. The game of rugby league is 80 minutes. The ball in play is 74 minutes.
Yeah.
How is that not more entertaining?
Oh, no, yeah, I know.
But here's what
I've never had that stat given to me, actually.
Yeah.
So, a good stat that was.
Yeah, it's unreal. It just shows how relentless, fast-paced, exciting the game is.
Mm.
And it's, a lot of people don't really like it, but I like the 6 again, because it just keeps that roll on. And if anything, if the players get more and more elite, because they're having to perform at higher levels.
Body shapes are changing, aren't they?
Yeah.
You look at Super League players now, there's not many like
They're all the
big,
same size.
like biffers. Yeah, they just can't be like that
A
anymore.
rugby league prop is the same size as a rugby union centre.
Yeah.
You know, and they more or less do the same job.
Yeah.
So because in rugby league, everyone's got to have a set of hands.
Yeah.
You know, when we play block shapes in league, we play 9 times out of 10, we're playing off a forward.
Yeah.
You know, to release the ball played out the back. So it's like, I just think the dynamic of it is unreal. Like I think passion for rugby league is just.
Well, if you did line a load of rugby league players up now and you sort of said, just by body shape, tell me what position they are like, you probably wouldn't be able to tell, really.
No,
you might be able to pick out your half-back and your hooker might have some tape round his ears or something, but other than that, it's just, they're all similar body shape, aren't they, like you said?
But I mean, the thing is, with like my thing with rugby union is like you get talking to someone who's never even tried rugby league. It's usually that person that's never even tried it because of whatever reason, and then they start talking about but your scrums are shit. And I'm like, well, define shit, because I don't want to see a load of play. Like, I can't even see the ball in a rugby union scrum. You know what I mean? And I know technically they're very technical, but I don't want to watch that.
I played in Bala, so I play for Llandudno, and I played in Bala, and the pitch, when I put my foot in the pitch, I couldn't see my ankle. And the game, 80-minute game, must have been about 60 scrums. Like.
Yeah, but what are you watching?
It's boring.
Yeah.
When I got took off after about 50 minutes, and I was like, thank God.
Yeah, we're going to set you off.
We're bored now, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's, here's where I think it changes in Wales, is Northern Hemisphere Rugby Union isn't exciting. If you watch Southern Hemisphere Rugby Union, if you watch like Super Rugby, New Zealand, South Africa, they play a very fast brand of Rugby Union. Down and pot. They don't commit to breakdowns much and offload. They like And when they kick to try and score. So it is quite interesting. But a lot of these kids, they'll only ever watch Rugby Union when the Six Nations is on. And when they watch it, I don't know any child under the age of 12 that would watch a full game of Rugby Union.
Yeah, because they don't understand about kicking for territory and stuff like that, do they?
If you sat a kid and said, just watch this game, just watch this game of rugby league, for me, like, and I'd like to think that's why these kids get hooked on it. The problem we have is these kids at this age are used to sort of tackling around the waist, and then when they play rugby league, then they tackle around, we tackle high, and then they go back to union, and then the coaches are whinging that they go back and they're tackling high. Well, to me, that's not high. And I tackle like that in union and stuff. So
that's why you get took off after 50 minutes, mate.
Funny enough, one of the hub coaches, he's doing really well in refereeing in union, but he loves league. His kid plays, and he's took one of our hubs and sort of took it on his own this year and ran with it, and he's done really, really well. He reffed my last game because I'm retiring this year. He reffed my last game, and I should have been sent off for a swinging arm because I know he ducked into it.
Mitigating circumstances.
He did say, he said to me after the game, I couldn't send you off in your last game. It was but it was like I got I don't want to swear because at the club I got idiot of the day. Because I was a forward that kicked the ball. Like, how dinosaur is that? Do you know what I mean? What a mind. It's such an old school. Why can't I kick? And it was a lovely crossfield kick. And we should have
Beautiful.
And we should have scored. And the lads were going, didn't know you could kick. I said, mate, rugby league players can do anything apart from tackle low and scrimmage. Everything else we're great at.
Have you experienced much like bureaucracy with the Welsh clubs or the kids, sort of say, look, here's an opportunity to try rugby league? Is there many people said, I don't want that, I don't want them playing rugby league or anything like that? Because you do sometimes in other areas of the country. Well, in other areas of England, should I say.
Not so much last season.
Yeah.
Because we only just started it up. But this year, definitely. Yeah, and I think that's because they see us
as a threat
expanding.
Yeah.
But it's a mindset thing. Why is it a threat? Do you think the same if your kid goes and plays cricket in the summer? Or is it just because it's rugby?
Yeah.
But it's more so because of the history between league and union in Wales itself. There's quite I don't know whether, do you know Mike Nicholas? He used to play for Warrington in the 70s, won the Challenge Cup in 74.
Right.
He's like president of Wales Rugby League. He played for Aberavon, and when he signed for Warrington, he wasn't allowed in Aberavon again.
I didn't know that.
And I'm on the coaching staff for Wales students. And guess where we're playing England students on the 30th of June?
Yeah.
Aberavon.
So what's he doing? Is he coming in?
So mindsets grow, but rugby league in South Wales has been around since the early 2000s. Rugby league in North Wales has been, in terms of like the amateur game, it's probably the strongest it's ever been now, and I don't think it's ever been this strong.
That was my next question, actually. I wanted to touch on the actual community game in North Wales. How many clubs are involved, and do you know what the sort of open age structure's like, and how many clubs are knocking about? What the Welsh League is like this year?
The open age is difficult. When you get to a certain age, when you play in a season of the league, and then a season of union, a season of league, and a season of union, we're not kids anymore.
Yeah.
It's hard to transition between, play full seasons in both. So it is difficult for the men's game.
So you're saying that ultimately they've got to make a choice. They either play league in the summer or union in the winter, and it's one or the other, because as ageing bodies break down, you can't do the two.
I think so. You might get we've had friendlies, and 2012 we had like a league structure around it, and then my club that I formed was in it, and it was a really good season. And then the lads went and played union straight after, and then when it came to playing league, I lost a lot of players like the year after. They said, I just can't. I can play now and again, but I can't play every week.
Yeah,
can't commit to this, can't commit to that, and so it is quite difficult. We need but for me, the development of rugby league in North Wales comes from the very bottom.
Juniors.
So those hubs, do they play each other then? Do you have a league structure around that?
So we've got games this afternoon.
Yeah.
So there's no league structure yet.
Right.
Next year they will. So what we try and do is like a festival format at the minute, where they're just coming and they're playing a lot of game time.
So I was at one of the Crusaders games last year, and it was the Midlands game where you played at some, I don't know what ground it was. It was a temporary ground for because this stadium was unavailable. Anyway, I'm going off the boil.
Yeah.
There was a lot of kids playing on that day. There were different kits, but they all had Crusaders Foundation on their arm. So they're different clubs, or are they all controlled by the Crusaders?
They're the hubs.
And you split, right, okay.
Yeah, so like Wrexham have red and white kit, Flint should have black and white, so on and so forth. Sometimes we have to mix, especially with the younger age groups, because we haven't, and it all depends on it, because we have near enough 200 kids registered, but we don't get them all in 1 week for training.
Yeah.
And we don't get them all in 1 week for a festival. You know what it's like.
Yeah.
So I think next year, I'd like to have where we have a league and they go and play each other home and away with all their age groups, and then we'll have a finals day at the end and a couple of festivals in between.
So that's really strong, isn't it, from a Crusaders point of view? Because essentially you're doing, you're almost developing a Crusaders league, whereas that's something that the Wales Rugby Board should be doing, but Crusaders have gone and developed these players themselves. Rather than having different community clubs, you've created these hubs. You've essentially created, not yet, but it looks that's the way it's going.
Yeah, potentially, but I know it's difficult for any club in Wales because the lack of funding that we get.
Yeah.
So it's as a governing body, I don't think Wales Rugby League get a great deal of money in. So I'm with the foundation, so my role is funding based. So it can make it a little bit tricky sometimes. Because we have to go where the funding goes.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll hopefully that'll change.
Yeah.
Essentially that's what it is, and then hopefully maybe adding one more hub next year, or just focus on consolidating the 6. But I suppose I'm sure Nick Settle and I'll discuss that when it's needed to be discussed. But and then obviously for me it's like we have to, because if we have under 11s now, next year we have under 12s.
Yeah.
So as long as all we need to do is develop the bottom age group.
Yeah, and keep
bring in the bottom age group, and then keep the player base growing at every other age group, and then so if you've got under 7s to 11s this year, next year under 7s to 12s, so within 5 years you've got under 7s to 16s, haven't you?
Yeah.
Or if you grow the bottom and the top, so next year if we grow a 7s and a 13s, then you
goes
got
even quicker.
Yeah, so within 3 years you've got 7s to 16s, then you've got your pathway, then you've got your going into your 18s, and then from that you've got 6 hubs where you can select your development pathways. From the development pathways, then you can put it in performance pathways. But it takes time.
Yeah.
It can't be rushed, because these players, they need developing, and that's my passion. Like, I love development coaching. I love performance coaching, but I love development coaching. And a lot of this is development coaching. I love seeing some of these kids last year, they hadn't even made a tackle in rugby union, and seeing them just throw themselves into it in rugby league was just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
For me, it's like defence. You can coach, you can have the best technique in the world, but 95% of it is mentality. If you got it, especially with kids, if you can be brave enough to stand in front of someone, the technique will come.
Yeah, you'll soon.
But
work
if you
it
just
out.
stand, because that's the hardest part, is putting yourself in front of someone and running the risk of getting put on your backside. If you can master that, if you can get over the fear of that, rugby's for you, mate.
Listening to you, it's a little bit like buying a house. Like, you never buy a house for what it is right now. You buy it on what it can be in the future.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it sounds like that's the way you're running this foundation. Now, you can't do that alone. So who is that you kind of want to mention or tip your hat to that have helped you along the way?
Well, obviously Nick Settle's been great, because Nick's obviously brought in. Nick does a lot of hard work behind the scenes in terms of the funding, which enables me to do what I do. But I've got a team of probably 10 volunteers that especially now it's expanded this year, won't be able to run without them. Like Ed Brown, who I was speaking about before, Ed Brown, who runs the Vale of Clwyd hub, he was part of the Denbighshire hub last year, and I wanted to move it to the coast, but then there was 8 players in the country, and he goes, "Do you want me to set up a hub in Denby?" Mate, if you're happy to do that,
yeah.
I'll go on a coaching course, I'll do this.
Yeah.
And he was like sending me Instagram. There's a elite rugby league pathways on Instagram, and he was sending me all these coaches. I'm going to do this week, this week. I just thought, that's fantastic, isn't it? Someone that really cares about what they're doing. And I've got Dave Forward in Wrexham. I've known Dave for 13 years. He's been involved in rugby league and in North Wales as long as I have. And if I could have 15, 20 Dave and Eds, rugby league would be the biggest sport in Wales. Not joking.
Yeah.
Because that's all it takes. All it takes is a good set of volunteers and a bit of order.
And you're flying.
You're flying.
Yeah.
And but without people like that, you can't do it, because you need at the grassroots, you need those top quality volunteers that just put their hand up, whether it's because the kids involved or they just love the game. You need people like that, and I'm lucky to have people like that around me.
Jonathan, we won't keep you any longer, because I know you're actually meant to be on the pitch now with some juniors. But no, it sounds like Wales Rugby League Foundation is in a great place with you at the helm. So thank you for doing the work that you're doing in the community, and thank you for joining us on the podcast.
Up the Rugby League, innit?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, boys.
That's the final whistle for this week's episode of the Rugby League Outsiders. We hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to follow us on social media and share this podcast with your friends. And as always, if you have a story to tell, a club to plug, or a player that deserves recognition, we want to hear from you. So until next time on the Rugby League Outsiders, take care.